Hey Cal fans, and welcome to this week's football film study on California Golden Blogs, where we're looking at our defensive performance against the Arizona Wildcats. Any way you slice it, this was our worst game of the season against the run, and so in this video we're going to talk about reads, run fits, and how our young linebackers can get better for next season. This game's interesting to watch if you're thinking about next season because it's the first game where we didn't have either Downs or Davison playing inside linebacker. By this point in the season, Downs had been injured and Davidson is actually playing on the outside in this game, and so we relied mostly on Kunashik and Brown to play that inside spot. We'll want to keep that in mind as we look at all these reads and all the things that these guys have to do over the course of a game. When you listen to football commentary, you'll hear a lot about gap assignments and gap integrity, and this can make it sound like defending the run is really easy. You've got your gap that you line up in, and you just need to stay in there to keep the running back from coming through it. On this play, for example, Arizona's running the ball to the right, and so our outside linebacker is going to stay outside the right tackle to take away that outside gap. The defensive end is going to take away the gap in between the right guard and the right tackle, and Kunashik's going to hang in that gap in between the right guard and the center. If those three guys can take away those three gaps, then the running back won't have anywhere to go to that side of the formation. This all looks nice and simple until blockers start moving around. On this play, for example, Cal's got a nose tackle end up over the center, and then they've got three defenders to each side of the center. Arizona's got three blockers to the left and two blockers to the right, and so the numbers look more or less appropriate. Where this gets tricky is when Arizona runs a counter play to the right of the formation here, and so their left guard and their fullback are going to pull to the right. Now, if Cal doesn't adjust to this, then they're going to be outnumbering that left tackle 3-on-1 to the left side of the formation, and to the right side, they're going to be outnumbered 4-on-3. So it's not just about lining up in one spot and controlling your gap, it's about reacting correctly based on the blocking scheme that you're seeing in front of you, and different run plays are going to have to be fit in different ways. So how does this work in practice? This is where your reads come in. So if I'm this linebacker, I have to have someone to read, and different teams will coach it differently. On this play, for example, I could be reading this left guard here. If the left guard stays put, then I know that I need to stay put and take away a gap to one side of him. If he comes across the formation, however, as he does on this play, then that tells me that I need to come across the formation as well to equal out the numbers. I could get that as I just described by reading this left guard. I could get a similar read by reading the backfield. When I see the running back and the fullback come across the formation, that's going to take me across the formation as well. Now, different teams are going to coach this in different ways. Some teams will have the guard be the primary read, some teams will have the backfield be the primary read, and both of those options has their advantages and disadvantages. Where you can get into trouble, and where we got into trouble in this game, is when your reads start taking you away from where you actually need to be. On this play, for example, Arizona's running to the left. On this play, the left guard's going to stay put where he is to the left of center, but this fullback is going to come across the formation to help block for a potential cutback. This is going to leave the Wildcats with two blockers to the left of center, and Cal's got three defenders out there to outnumber those guys, so they should be in really good shape to take away this run to the left. The problem is that when this linebacker sees the fullback coming across the formation, he's going to chase him down inside. This takes away our third defender to the left side of the formation and leaves a wide open A-gap for the running back to get a nice gain. We can see this really clearly on Arizona's one and only play of the first overtime. This end zone footage gives you a great view of what's going on here. Watch as the play runs forward, and not only our inside linebacker, but even our safety end up crossing the nose tackle in the center and ending up on the right side of the formation. The important thing here is that there's no reason that they need to do this. There aren't any open gaps to the right side of the formation, and so when both of those defenders come across the center, they're leaving an open lane and giving the running back a clear shot to the end zone. This might look like a really small mistake, and in terms of the actual distance that the linebacker's gone in the wrong direction, it is a small mistake. But what we're seeing here is that these small mistakes are very much the difference between winning and losing, and so this offseason it's going to be up to our position coaches to get these new linebackers reading these plays quickly and accurately and responding in the correct way. Alright, that's it for this week. Check back in 2 weeks as I look at the Cal defense against Colorado. Until then, go Bears!